Hello my dear nephew, Uncle Major speaking here, your favorite uncle. No pun intended. In this video I'm going to show you how to access most part of the lands between in 4 different categories. Access to areas that requires an item, examples being how to access Altus Plateau or the hidden path to the Consecrated Snowfield and Haligtree. Early access to an area that requires simply being entered by finding a secret passage, like Liurnia of the Lakes, Subterranean Shunning-Grounds or Dragonbarrow. Areas that have a requirement to be reached, be by defeating a boss or completing progress through a quest line, like Nokron Eternal City, and simply putting out new areas that might be hidden to new players to find them, like the underground areas. The areas won't be shown in order of access or most important, but rather in an order that I consider best shown in this video for comprehension. Important note to take is that in this video there will be no glitch or exploit involved. So if an area can be accessed much earlier by those means, it won't be covered in here. Areas that require no secret and are pretty straightforward on how to access won't be featured in this video. These are Leyndell, Caelid, Whippy Peninsula, Stormveil Castle, Forbidden Lands, Mountaintops of the Giants, and Crumble Farum Azula. Before starting, I would like to point out that the map in this video will be fully revealed. When you first get inside of a new area, the map won't be revealed right away, but rather expanded and not drawn until you find the map item of the said area. I recommend you to go after those as soon as you get inside new areas to make easier to make reference points from this video with the map in your game. To find a map item of an area, you need to open your map that won't be drawn like this, and look for a spot in this empty area that looks like an obelisk on a lantern. Pin it on your map for it to be shown in your compass to make it easier to find it. Once you get the item, your map will be automatically revealed when you open it. Let's start looking on how to access Liurnia of the Lakes as soon as possible. It is quite straightforward, no need to defeat a boss or have an item. First is simply go to the Stormhill sub-area of Leyndell, that can be accessed going through the Star Gate. This area where you first meet Belina and she gives Torrent and Accord. Look for this broken bridge on the map and get to the very end of it where it ends. Jump down to the left side where there is some patch of land and look for higher ground to find this very narrow space on the cliff side. Keep going forward until you reach Liurnia of the Lakes. Do not forget to activate the first Site of Grace to have a foot on this area. Second place that I will be showing is Dragonbarrow, which sounds like a Skyrim name by the way. There are 3 ways to access.
What the hell are you?
First I'm going to show is the easiest and the one I highly recommend you to do so if you just start a fresh character. Go to the 3rd Church of America in Leyndell. Make sure to activate the Site of Grace inside the church because this place will be used again shortly. From inside the church, look north and go to this shallow pool of water with a lot of overgrowth. Look for this tiny corner at the most north tip of the water pool to find this thing called Waygate. Interact with it and you'll be teleported to Dragonbarrow. Be careful around this area because the enemies are really high level.
Oh fuck.
The other 2 ways to get to Dragonbarrow are through Caelid. First one is quite simple, you can jump from one side to the other in this exactly part of the map. The other way is way more complicated, it's through the Church of Plague, and to access you need to light 3 braziers located on top of 3 towers inside Celia Tower Sorceress. Once that is done, you can go through a gateway that will open after all birds are lit and that will take you to the Church of Plague. Once there, you can go north and towards this giant rock, which is actually cool, and jump in one of the spirit springs near to access Dragonbarrow. It is actually easier to do the other way around. You access the Church of Plague from Dragonbarrow by doing the opposite way I just showed. Next is the area I consider the most important to show it to you and how to get in. Also the main reason I created this video is Altus Plateau. Having access to it allows you to be able to get a lot of new items for your build. No bosses need to be defeated to access, but it requires 2 items to activate the Grand Leptodectus. These items are 2 halves of a medallion. The first medallion is located at Fort Height, at the most southeast part of Leyndell. If you haven't reached yet, go to the 3rd Church of America in Leyndell. From here go south all the way until you have reached the castle. Before going up to the fort, activate the Site of Grace, which is the one closest to the fort because there are none inside of it. Reach the very top through a ladder inside of tower. On the top you will find a chest containing the first half of the Dectus medallion. The second piece is located inside Fort Faroth in Dragonbarrow. That is why I show you how to access there first. Once you reach the fort, activate the Site of Grace in front of it because you might need it. There are some really strong enemies inside the fort, So what you're going to do is rush in, don't stop to anything until you reach the ladders that are to the left of the entrance. At the end of the ladder, there will be a chest with the second half of Dectus medallion inside. A small bonus for you, nephew. Before leaving the fort, check the roof and jump down the hole that is the most west part of it. Back inside the fort, watch out for a rat on the same floor level you are and try to do this diagonal jump to the other side. Keep running and jump down a hole near a giant rat, and once you're on the ground floor, look for the item on a corpse. This item is the Radagon Sword Seal, which is quite useful for a lot of builds in the early stage. Now, to actually access Altus Plateau, you need to go through to almost all the entirety of Liurnia of the Lakes to reach the Grand Lift of Dectus. First, you need to go to this point on the map to find the Spirit Spring, which are those whirlwinds that you can jump with torrent to be launched in the air. It is a bit confusing look at the map, but the Spirit Spring is on the water level. After reaching the Spirit Spring and reach the higher ground, you are finally going to the Grand Lift of Dectus, which is here on the map. Once inside, go towards the lift and step in the circular engraving on the floor to activate the lift. If you cannot activate with it, it's because you don't have the two parts of the medallion. If that's the case, nephew, are you paying attention to what I'm saying? Do I need to punch you in the head to see if I can unclog all the shitty TikTok and Instagram videos inside your head? Anyway, once the cutscene ends, you'll be in Altus Plateau. There is a site of grace nearby, just a tiny bit to the left. Do you believe it took me about 13 playthroughs to discover this site of grace? Maybe I also need some head punching. There are two more ways to access Altus Plateau, as far as I know. One is the default route through Runes Through Precipice, where you need to defeat a boss through this route, and he's not very friendly to low-level characters, one might say. And the other option is being swallowed by Abductor Virgin at the bottom of Hogwarts. I mean, Raya Lucaria Academy. That is not an early game friendly route to Altus Plateau, but actually a route to Volcano Manor, which I will talk about soon.
May I have a moment of attention?
All videos in this channel are made by me alone, and they require a lot of time and effort from my part. So if this video is being useful to you or you're enjoying it, please consider leaving a like and subscribe to your new favorite uncle. No pun intended. Next is on how to access Raya Lucaria Academy, which is actually quite easy. No boss required, but just one item that is guarded by the boss, lol. But you can rush in and grab the item and get out without messing with the boss. Raya Lucaria Academy entrance is located here on the map, but the gate is blocked by a magic seal. There are three ways to get in front of the gate. First one is simply by riding all the way over there, which might be the best way because you can take the opportunity and loot the map fragment of the area near the entrance. The second and halfway is through two different way gates. That is why one is halfway. Same method, different location. The first way gate is located at Liurnia ruins near the Obnaric Woman, here on the map. And the second way gate is actually close to this one, so I have no idea why they both exist. It is in an open ruin here on the map. Once in front of the gate, activate the Site of Grace. There is a corpse in front of the gate with the map that shows where the magic seal is located. And it's actually not far. It is between these tiny rocks formation on the map. So mark it on your map and carefully go down the water level again. Arriving at the place, you'll notice is guarded by a dragon, so actually you can rush in, grab the key and GTFO until far away enough to fast travel back at the gate. Once there, you can interact with it to be teleported in front of Raya Lucaria entrance. The entrance itself is to the left, on a lift, but you can also explore to the right and behind you. I would like to point out that the magic seals are not solid, so you can walk through them without the need to interact with them. What the magic seals do is teleport the player. You couldn't just walk in through the first magic seal because there is a giant iron gate behind it. Next is how to get inside the Volcano Manor. There are three methods on how to get there, all different from one another, and curiously enough, none of them requires a boss to be defeated. But one needs to progress a little bit on an NPC's quest line. The first method is simply the default one, which is going through the entirety of Mount Gelmir, so I won't be covering this method. Second method is the one I just talking about a few minutes ago, which is through the Abductor Virgin at the bottom of Raya Lucaria Academy. Once inside the academy, you will come across this part where you need to take one of these platforms, connect to a giant contraption to go up. To reach the Abductor Virgin, you need to use these same platforms to reach the bottom instead. So very carefully take one platform to the bottom and be ready to be attacked by the Abductor as soon as you land. To be teleported to the Volcano Manor, you need to let the Abductor kill you by swallowing you. Any other form of death won't work and you will just respawn at the last site of grace you rested. Once you manage to be transferred to your new Brazilian resort, you have two options. Do the default route, which is on the upper levels where you are, explore this area that doesn't have anything special really, and you won't be able to leave until you defeat the boss of this arena. And you might already guess it is not friendly to low level characters, or you can do the best thing and jump down to the right on this spot. You will take a lot of damage from the lava, but you will gain access to the main part of the manor. Third method is being dragged to the main manor hall by an NPC named Raya. This method requires to spend 1000 runes and have access to Altus Plateau. I consider this one to be the easiest and the best for new characters. First, you must speak with Raya here in Liurnia Lakes. She will ask you to retrieve her necklace from a bandit that stole from her. This bandit is no other than the Giga Jack Blackguard Big Bogger. Well, talk to him and he will offer to sell you a necklace back for 1000 runes. Buy it and bring it back to Raya. Alternatively, you can kill him, but I do not recommend you doing that because he sells boiled prawn and when you move to Altus Plateau, he will sell you boiled crab. Back at Raya, she will thank you. No, not thank you. She will thank you and give you a useless item. Really, the letter is super useless. Anyway, she will move to Altus Plateau next and you need to talk to her again. She can be in two different places. First, she'll be at the top of the Grand Lift of Dectus if you take the lift to access Altus Plateau for the first time. If she's not there, that means she's probably in the Lux ruins. These tiny ruins are located super close to the Earth-Tree Gazing Hill Site of Grace, located here on the map. If she didn't appear yet, try to rest at the Site of Grace. In this playthrough, she won't appear in front of the Lux ruins because I took the Grand Lift first to reach Altus Plateau, so that's why you don't see her on the screen. But she will be exactly where I'm showing. Whenever she might be in your game, talk to her and she will offer to teleport you to the manor. She will leave Altus Plateau if you reach Leyndell royal capital. Ah yes, once inside the manor, talk to this lady to receive a key that can open most doors of this area. You need to open the first door on the right and roll on a wall in front of a corpse to reveal a secret passage. Next is Siofra River. Yes, Siofra. That's how it's pronounced. You're welcome, nephew. There is no secret how to get there. You just need to take a lift down that is located here in Lingrave. I am just showing because I notice a lot of people miss these underground areas in the game. And also because of the next area that shares the same map with Siofra River, Nokron Eternal City. Let me show the map in this area. This lower part is called Siofra River, the upper part is called Nokron Eternal City, the third part separated to the east is called Mohgwyn Palace. I will show you how to get there near the end of this video, but first, to access Nokron is pretty straightforward, but not that easy. You need to defeat Giga Jet Generator, which is not a boss you should be facing early in game if you don't know how to fight him yet. But in order to fight him, you need to activate the Radance Festival, which is an event that allows you to access his arena. To activate said festival, a Site of Grace in Altus Plateau must be activated. Once defeated, a star will crash in Lingrave to create a new path. The impact crater is located here on the map, but it will be marked by a red banner on the map automatic for you after defeating Radan. Next is the Ainsel River. This area is divided into two parts. The first called Ainsel River and the second Ainsel River Main. Yeah, what an incredible name to defer these areas. Because of that, I will be calling Ainsel River Man by the name of Nokstella, which is the area inside of it. I will cover Nokstella soon, but first let me show how to access the Ainsel River. The lift that takes you down there is located in Liurnia Lakes here on the map. Once you recover the map, you may notice there is a huge area that you cannot reach, that is Nokstella. The playable area of Ainsel River is this one I'm showing you right now. In Nokstella, this one. Next one is a mandatory area, Leyndell Royal Capital. I'm just going to talk about this one because you cannot rush to get access to it. It is blocked by a seal that can only be accessed after you acquire 2 Great Runes, which are awarded after defeating some main bosses of the game. There are 5 possible Great Runes that can be acquired to access. In order of difficulty, these are Godric the Grafted at the end of Stormveil Castle, Renala, located inside the Raya Lucaria Academy, Giga Chad, Star Scorch, Rada in Kaelin, Praetor Rykard at Volcano Manor, and finally Mohg, Lord of Blood. Yes, Mohg. If you manage to beat him before reaching Leyndell, you are a badass, and I'm going to shake your hand and clap both my hands and ass cheeks. Wow! And there is a second way to get to Leyndell, which is through the way gate located in Deeproot Depths on the giant boss arena. After winning this boss battle, which is super shitty by the way, the way gate will be activated and you can use it to be teleported to Leyndell in almost the same place where you get in for the other method. Having access to Leyndell will give you the opportunity to enter the sewer level that is obligatory in every video game. This one is called Subterranean Shunning-Grounds. From the avenue balcony side of Grace in Leyndell, go down the stairs and to the left. Check the rails until you see this opening that you can jump down. Look for a well and jump inside of it. Down there will be a really weird iron gate that looks like just an iron fence, but it actually can be opened. Just advance a bit ahead and you have reached the Subterranean Shunning-Grounds. I will probably make a video teaching how to navigate through this area because it's quite confusing exploring it for the first time. But that video is not on my priority, so whenever it's ready, it will be shown on the info card on the top right of the screen right now, and also in the description of this video. And next we have, pardon my English, Deeproot Depths. I have no idea if I pronounced that correct. Anyway, this area requires a lot of stuff to be done before you can reach, so no early rushes. There are two ways to reach it. The first one, and the one I recommend, is through Nokron Eternal City. Once you have reached this open area of Nokron, go to this part of the area and look for a ledge that you can go down. It is a bit hidden, so you need to get close to this corpse to see it. You will continue through this area and you will have to face a tough boss battle. Once the boss is defeated, go further back into the arena and look for this stone coffin near the waterfall that you can interact with. The coffin will take you to the Deeproot Depths. The second way is through Subterranean Shunning-Grounds. You need to reach the boss of this arena and defeat it. Once it is done, you will notice there is a chest inside the arena, and behind there is an altar. Hit the altar to reveal a secret passage. Like, really? This part is an absolute violent stroke.
Game of the year? Elden Ring!
Reaching this bottle, you can hit one of the walls that have an arc decoration that will reveal a secret passage. Hit the wall at the end of this passage to reveal another one until you reach the Deeproot Depths. And having access to Deeproot Depths means you can access Ainsel River main. And like I said before, I will be calling this area Nokstella, because having two areas with the same name doesn't help when you're trying to show people how to get there. So to access Nokstella, you can simply interact with this coffin on the edge of the map, in this part of Deeproot Depths. It is really close to a site of grace called the Nameless Eternal City. And there is a second way to reach there. When you give the Fingerslayer blade to Ranni during her quest, one of the towers of the Three Sisters will be accessible, Runa's Rise. On top of the tower, there is a way gate that will take you to Nokstella. I'm working on a video how to complete the Ranni quest line, so when that is ready, it will be shown the info card on the top of the screen right now, and also in the video description. Reaching the end of Nokstella will give you access to the Lake of Rot, also known as Miyazaki's Jacuzzi.
Oh, fuck.
Access to the Haligtree can only be done through the Consecrated Snowfield, which is near the end of the game when you have reached the mountaintops of the Giants. To access Consecrated Snowfield, you need two halves of a medallion called Secret Medallion. The first half is located at the Albinauric village in Liurnia of the Lakes. Once you are up there, look for this giant jar that looks like it's glowing. Attack it once, so just roll on it to reveal that it's actually an NPC. Talk to him to retrieve the first half of the medallion. The second half is located at Castle Sol in the mountaintops of the Giants. You need to complete this area by defeating the boss, and once he is dispatched, you can take a lift up to the rooftops that has the other half of the medallion loose on the ground as a loot. With both medallions in your inventory, go back to the Grand Lifter Road, which is the one you took before to reach mountaintops of the Giants. When inside of the area that you can activate the lift, you have the option to switch action. Doing so will change the action to raise the secret medallion or something like that. That will take you to the hidden path to Haligtree Catacombs. Go through this dungeon and you will reach the Consecrated Snowfield. Now that you have access to the shitty Consecrated Snowfield, you'll be able to go to the Haligtree where Malenia Blade of Bullshit resides. To do so, first go to Ordinary Liturgical Town in this part of the map. Arriving there, look for this jail seal and interact with it. This will put in a dark version of this town where you can light 4 different braziers to open a seal to Haligtree. The first one is very simple to find, but beware of the invisible enemies. If you just rush for the braziers, that won't be a problem. Or if you really need to see them, you can buy the center storage from this merchant in Altus Plateau. After the first brazier is lit, look for this area. You can jump on these railings and skip a lot of effort going around the building to access a ladder that will take you to the rooftops of the buildings. One brazier is closer, by another ladder at the end of the one that you just climbed. The third brazier is also on the rooftops. Look northeast, where there are 2 archers, and jump on roof to roof, rolling like Sonic Hedgehog because these archers have like Legolas speed of fire rate. Once you climb the third ladder and lit the third brazier, go west to the ground level and go around from the outside to find another ladder that will take you to the final brazier. After lighting the final brazier, the game will leave this dark version of town after a few seconds automatically, and the Haligtree can be accessed. To help you with more of those braziers, here are the locations on the map. Next, I will be showing how to access the Mohgwyn Palace. There are 2 methods to reach this area. The first method, which can be done much earlier than the second, is through White Mask Fahir questline that requires reaching both Liurnia of the Lakes, Altus Plateau, and having acquired a Great Rune. First, you need to acquire 1 Great Rune and talk to Enya, the finger reader on the Round Table Hold. That will make him move to this island in Liurnia of the Lakes. Talk to him there to progress his quest to the next objective, which is invade 3 players who are going to this spot in Altus Plateau and find a red summon site inside one of the ruins. You will invade an NPC world and you must defeat him. If you invade the players, you do not need to defeat them. Once that is done, go back to Fahir to trigger the next objective of his quest line, which is soak a piece of cloth with... There are 3, but the easiest is at the Chapel of Inhibition, in Liurnia of the Lakes. A second one is the body you can see at the beginning of the game at the Chapel of Anticipation. To reach that place again, you need to go to the 4 belfries and have an imbued stone key in your possession interact with the way gate that says Chapel of Anticipation. There is 1 imbued stone key inside the chest in the 4 belfries in case you don't have any in your possession. And the final options is killing Irina at the start of the Weeping Peninsula. You are the one that needs to kill her, otherwise it won't work. Just trust your uncle here and go for the first option. Once you got the piece of cloth soaked in, go back to the other version that gave you this task for him to give you the Pure Blood Knight medal. This is a consumable item, so using your inventory to be teleported to Mohgwyn Palace. The second method is much simpler, but it is through Consecrated Snowfield, so way later in game. All you need to do is go to this area and look for the way gate near the edge of the map. You will be invaded by the Edlord NPC you need to kill in order to activate the way gate. Once activated, interact with it to take you to the Mohgwyn Palace. If you find this video useful, please consider leaving a like and subscribe to my channel. That will help me a lot. And if you have any doubt or have seen any wrong information, let me know in the comments below. And if you have time, check my builds videos for Elden Ring, it might have something that interests you. Thank you for watching, and I hope you to see in my other videos.